I'm Kathryn Flashner, and this is The Truth Is, a podcast about discovering what it means to live your truth. Even when it's messy, when it unravels the plans you thought you had and invites you to step into the unknown. Each week, we explore practices, stories, and conversations that illuminate the ways we find and follow our own path. This is a space to slow down, ask questions, and uncover what's been quietly waiting inside of you. If it resonates, subscribing, following, and engaging with the show really supports me in bringing more people into the conversation. Thank you for being here. Welcome to The Truth Is. Kate Boyer, welcome to The Truth Is.
Happy to be here.
And look at this one. I probably can't, I'm going to point it directly into the camera. I'll find a way to show it. Okay, she Black Belt Illustrated.
That was a journey. That was a photo shoot for something when, how old was I there? 5?
All it says is North Philly Badlands. Bruised knuckles since 89.
I think that was from a karate class when I was 5.
Did you do karate or were you a model for a karate photo shoot?
No, I did. I did many martial arts growing up through the years. And that was a classic photo of the beginning.
Yeah,
my white belt. So
what was this Kate like?
Kate was joyous, grateful, understanding at an early age, sort of mortality in a way. I had grown up with an older father, and I think that shaped a lot of decisions that I had made. But a very, I wouldn't say fearless, because of course I had fears, but a very, I think adventurous kid is the word. Yeah.
What did the adventures look like?
A lot of trying to get to the woods.
From Philly?
Yeah, there is, because it's Philly, right?
There's
so much of that, at least where I lived.
Yeah.
But down the street, there was actually a large park. And so that was really fun, getting to venture down there and explore, new worlds that I had never seen. That really excites me, like an explorer mindset. Yeah.
As you look back on that, do you see the curiosity in her that pulled you into this career path for yourself?
Absolutely. A lot of the unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
One of the reasons, there's so many reasons I'm so excited to do this with you.
I love you.
And one of them that I was taking stock in just from a personal reflection was you're the first of my dear friends who I act with that I'm having on the show. I had our teacher John on.
Amazing man.
And gosh, it's been such a privilege to get to know you through your work as an actor and then personally over the last few years. And man, the show, its main curiosity is exploring like what it means to live true to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely on the show spend a lot of time exploring like our professional lives. And I've always been curious about like when we pursue anything, this pull to want to perform what we think we need to be accepted into it versus like being who we really are. Yeah. And man, if this isn't a career path that like brings that tension into view.
Yeah.
And not only is the job itself to step into different identities and experiences, but this is, to what you said, like I think one of the most uncertain, unpredictable paths that I've experienced in my peer group going down. And I think part of like me probably waiting to like sit down with my actor friends like this is it's such a specific experience to try to unpack and look at. Mm-hmm. And it's so unique to every person. And I've watched you have such a resilience and a sense of power and a deep understanding of who you are. And so it's a privilege to get to talk to you about all of it in your story to getting here where you are today.
Well, the feeling is mutual, truly.
Mm.
And that's so kind of you to say. And I remember you talking about how you wanted to begin this journey with this podcast. And look what you've accomplished. I'm in awe, and it's incredible. And just to get to know you as a person is, sometimes I just look at you like, we had dinner over the weekend, and the way you gave a speech to all of your closest friends who you were so kind enough to cook for. I was just like, wow, she's such a special woman. So thank you. I think over the years, I've had to cultivate that sense of trust in self. I think some people might be raised in a way that is at the forefront, and then some have to discover that. Maybe there's generations of belief systems within their family that have been placed upon them, and you kind of have to undo and find out who you are as a person. I think the truth in what we do is, how do we authentically find our voice uninhibited by external anything, and bring that to our work. And the second we realize, oh, it's who I am, what maybe I'm going through today, there's no way to do what we do, right? There's just self-discovery. But the more I bring where I'm at in the moment, I find the power in that.
For some reason, I can't get out of my head, like, looking at some of your real work and your and just snapshots of your incredible career. And so this question is going to be a fun way to start. I would love to know what the experience of running through a plate of glass is.
Not fun. No. The best part of what I do is to acknowledge my fear and my doubts, because they're definitely there. But to not push past, but to embrace them and go for it anyway. The feeling after I get past the glass, that is such an elation, because it is a full trust in self to accomplish something. And it's not done alone. It's a team. It's calculated. There's trust and there's support. But it is such a great feeling on the other side of being afraid of something and trusting in yourself that you can do it. And that's my favorite part of the job.
The other side.
The other side. Not the before.
But I love what you said, because I kept watching this in your stunt reel, you running. And what was that? What was that from?
A job, I believe we shot in South America, maybe quite some time ago. And it was broken up into two parts, where we had high fall, and then we had this glass break. So
I love what you said, though. Like, it's not that the fear is absent or that you conquer the fear. It's like the fear is with you as you decide to run straight up to it.
Yeah, I have fear. I have doubts. I decide it's going to go well, and
Before
I
it happens.
push past it. Yeah.
What's the feeling on the other side?
The feeling on the other side of conquering something that you're afraid of is peace and momentum and excitement to do it again, and sort of see a lot of hard work pay off in a younger version of you who may have not known how or where to begin. Sort of, it's like a self-reflection of all that has come before, all the people that have helped you before to now. It's a brief moment of bliss.
You gifted me with the story of your journey out to LA to start this career. And so I wonder if you would share a little bit about whatever feels like reminiscent to you about what brought you out here and what that choice was to take that risk and drive across the country to pursue this thing.
It was December 27th, 2012. I had come out here and all my belongings were in a Honda Civic. no idea where to stay,
Yeah.
what I was going to do. But I had a vision. And I think part of my job as a stunt woman is having a vision, visualizing to the end what you are going to execute. And in my experience, I don't go forward unless I can visualize that, right? I think that's such a gift we're given as creators and just people as a whole. Visualization is so important to our journeys to self-growth and evolution, right? Like pinpointing where it is we want to go. So when I had moved out here, I had really sought asking people constantly, what is it I can do? Where do I go? How do I do this? And through the kindness of people over time, pointing me here and here and here, and then putting in the work to listen to their advice, I began to build my career here in Hollywood. And, there's many things I've accomplished and many things that I haven't that I strive to do still. And I am more interested now at this point in my life in those that might be listening that resembled us years ago and going like, it is, I feel anything is possible if you take the time to visualize what that may be, because we definitely live in a world now where we are constantly bombarded by so many things, and we feel that being busier and trying to do multiple things and create something it's not. I would take the time to visualize what it is that we want to do, and I had a strong visualization when I moved out here that I wanted to work in film, I wanted to work as a stunt actor, and that's what I focused on. So came out here with nothing, and then eventually things started to unfold.
Did the decision to drive out here with everything in the Honda Civic happen all at once, or were you thinking about it for a long time?
I remember being in New York. I was working a bar job, and I would cry before I went in to work every day.
Yeah.
Only because I wasn't listening to my inner voice. I wasn't listening to that truth of what I wanted to do, because I came from a survival mode growing up. And I was just starting to reach that age where I could make my own decisions and follow my own truths instead of the maybe system or environment that I was raised in. And I remember going back to my apartment in New York and looking at my belongings going, if I don't go now, I'm never going to go. And I had a friend who said that. They were like, oh, you want to move to Los Angeles? If you don't do it now, you never are. And I heard his voice and I was like, that's it. So I got my, I remember I had a guitar bag and a bag, and I wasn't even good at guitar. I just was trying to
useful
learn.
though for LA.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it fits, right?
Yeah.
But at the time I was learning. I enjoy singing now more, but at the time I just grabbed those two things and I got on a plane. I didn't know where I was going to stay, what I was going to do. And when I had came out here, the day I came out here, I got called because I landed a acting job on a television show. And I remember thinking, oh, energetically, I listened to my voice and I gave essentially the universe and the ability to get in line with what it is that I was asking for. And I mean, whatever you choose to believe, I choose to believe like that is what, like you plant a seed, you water it, you grow it, and then Mother Nature, grows. So that really taught me, let me be in line with what it is I want to do, and make the bold leaps to do it. So I continued to do that. Okay, well, this thing scares me, but my gut and my intuition is saying I should do it. So I'm going to have faith, and continuing that, I've had a life of that. And that's similar to stunts, where you visualize, you're afraid, and you decide to have faith that it's going to go well.
What is the feeling that's telling you still to do it? Because sometimes I wonder if I worry that fear is resistance or like misalignment, but you It's like, is it like a deeper pull towards something?
I think at a young age, I had to figure out a lot early,
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of pushed me into a realm of, I don't know the outcome of this, but I have to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And like anything, it pushing through fear, I feel, is like a muscle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the more I personally do it, the better I get at it.
Yeah.
Um, like us being on camera, the more
Mm-hmm.
we do it, the more we're used to it. The more exposure, proximity,
Mm-hmm.
I think over time things have become easier. So you asked me a question earlier of, how did this get rolling? And I think of that time in my apartment where I went, okay, I don't know how this is going to go,
Yeah.
but I owe it to myself. Sometimes I see a version of me 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I go, well, if I had a conversation with her, who would she be? Would she be at peace, or would she wish that she did this? And that really helps me kind of
Mm-hmm.
decide. But yeah, I think it's a muscle, and if we really got down to it, you really asked a great question. I feel it comes down to what gives the initial push for the first time going past that fear.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's where the truth is.
Yeah. And
yeah,
in the stunt work is such a physical embodiment of that.
yeah.
Like what a clear example.
Yeah.
Will you share with me, was stunt work always a part of the vision as you envisioned what this career could look like?
I did not know stunt doubling was
a thing.
a journey, was
Yeah.
a career. I was working as a PA on a show,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just getting like the coffees and the waters for whoever. Long hours, very, very hard. Just trying to survive on no money and just
Yeah.
do that journey. And I discovered there was a stunt man. I believe that day they did a T-bone and a small high fall on fire, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. And the more I asked about it and found out about it, I was like, this is such a world that I had no idea, and it fascinated me.
Yeah.
And at the time I was in acting class, and I had always wanted to act, and I really looked at it and I went, that's an expression of art. They are expressing themselves with their body at such a rapid pace,
Mm-hmm.
where they show up and they have to emote and see what the actor's doing, and they're there to support the actor and make them shine. And I just thought it was such and go push past their fear and still be calculated.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was such a beautiful, evolution of what
Yeah.
expression is. Yeah.
Was there a moment or a chapter early on where you started to feel things click into place? Like, was there an early opportunity that told you, like, okay, this is, I can feel that I made the right choice and that this is possible out here?
I felt as I got further into my career and I worked on bigger films.
Yeah.
I remember one film in particular, I was there and I was like, wow, this is it. I feel like I've made it, right? Like a goal, and I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was incredible. It was an incredible experience. And the job was mentally challenging, and to push through, it was like all the things that I had asked for.
Mm-hmm.
And after I went home, I went, what next?
Yeah.
And I had, I'll speak for myself, I had personally felt like along the way there would be a golden ticket. Right?
Yeah.
I get this, and then everything is the way I imagined, the way
Yeah.
I wanted. And I think through constantly going from job to job, which is what our industry is,
Mm-hmm.
I've asked the question, what is inward? What brings me peace versus a call to do something for someone else?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the work that we've started doing together has really asked the question, how can we best serve? How can we best integrate parts of ourselves that have been cut off, that we can now become a wholer person? And I'm more excited now about the identity of maybe not identity, the who I've become versus an old identity of what I decided at a younger age life should be, probably out of survival mode.
What do you feel you've become?
I think the more that I can be of service is the more I understand who I am and why I do things.
Yeah.
And where my fears are, where my insecurities are, and my shames are, and embrace them and not be afraid anymore to be vulnerable and share where I'm at, because I think the only way we can grow is to accept where we are. And so who I think I've become is more of someone of service that can connect and joyfully live. I'm happy, but I don't think happiness is the goal, because I think all emotions are important to integrate and evolve. Fear, anger, whatever it is, you know. But I think I've become a more peaceful person that has gratitude.
Yeah, and
more grateful.
I wonder, tell me if this lands for you, because it's the thing that I've observed about being around this type of industry and environment, both in myself and like in others throughout the years as they've reflected on it, is, you said it well, like this maybe antiquated or just like general facade of waiting for, like you said, the golden ticket.
Right.
And I've called myself out on that in different capacities. Like, I'm waiting for something to land on my doorstep. I'm waiting for the call of like, Kathryn, come do this. And while there is, I think, serendipity, it is the thing that I'm so humbled by, and the thing I have such reverence for in people like you, is it is all self-led. Like it, you said it, like you have to be out planting the seeds.
Yeah.
And there's both a like daunting nature to realizing that, but then I think there's a lot of autonomy and like empowerment that comes with that realization. And I love you talking about that it actually feels like an act of service that you're available for.
I think that's the most important.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I have had the opportunities that I've had. Sure, hard work, but because there have been people that have reached out that are complete strangers that have just touched me in such a way when I may have felt alone or not supported or not brave enough to ask for help, that they went, hey, here. Whether it's a moment of wisdom sharing or something else. And it means so much to me that I am able to do that for someone else. You know, like you are doing this for the podcast. You know, you are letting people see what we believe are the truth of things, and someone is going to hear that and went, wow, I really resonate. That gives me a little more courage to do the next thing, or just to be present and accept. So I think that's so beautiful. Yeah.
I want to, only if you're comfortable, the emotion that you're feeling around that. What?
The emotion is, yeah, that's there. Those who take the time to be present with someone and see them and how they may be able to uplift someone else is, I think, why we are a community, a human race, a tribe. And that is such a part of our humanity that I think is so important.
Yeah. Is we've spent more time together outside of taking classes together. There's this, like reminder of how important the community is. And we're like, wow, we've been in classes together. Like the time spent just with each other deepens the work, you know?
Yeah. Because you see it bleed out from a very, selfish isn't the right word, but a very in our line of work, there's a lot of self figuring out, self focus. How do I? What do I do the next things? Second guessing it, thinking I'm doing stuff all the time. I'm working all the time.
Yeah.
But what do I have to show for it? There's always this busyness of self.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see the personal work that you do bleed out into, oh, I have a community.
Yeah.
Because I've found that thing that I enjoy, and I've been spending time doing it now. There's other people.
Yeah.
There's you don't receive trust unless you offer it. And so there's an offering of trust in this thing that we enjoy, and it bleeds out to community. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and it makes you feel safer doing it because
Yeah.
you're not the only one,
Yeah. Yeah, it's so well said. And while like our culture can focus so much on the individual, anything I've experienced as an actor, it's because of the person across from me.
The most important thing in a scene is the other person.
It's the other person.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like that orientation gets me out of my head. It gets me out of like all that self-flagellation of like,
Yeah.
doubt, and it's a different orientation. And what's interesting is getting my attention out of my head and onto you or whoever I'm with. It allows me to speak truthfully. It allows me to be me because it's not like coming from my head or something.
Yeah. You have such a grounding effect. And yeah, even like starting this, there's a moment of,
Yeah.
and then just focus in, and I trust that you will lead the ship in a beautiful way. And I trust that I will try to be of service for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you can do. And practicing that muscle is essentially, it's just practicing things in life that is where you get comfortable and you find more courage to break through that fear question that you asked earlier. I really just feel like it's a muscle, and trying to find communities or areas where you can practice that. And I think we live in a time with AI and all this technology that it's so exciting that if there is something you're curious about, you can so quickly, find more about it and dive in. I think the next generation, I'm just excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I like what you said, because there is, and I think we've had to a degree, flip some of the fear into curiosity of what is possible. I was curious to ask you how you think your relationship with auditioning has evolved over the years. And I ask because, if I may, people of all different professions listen to the show.
Yeah.
And while there's interviewing and applying in all different professions, this is one that it's constant. And I'm curious about that maybe tension between wanting to do the thing you think they want from you versus what's true to you.
Okay, so we'll do a little bit of an origin story there.
Please.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I was just starting out. I'm in a Honda Civic, living in a car. Yeah, when I came out here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I just looked at these sides, and I had dabbled, done it a little bit, but I had no go-to of what I felt confident is like the way I had worked, right?
Yeah.
I, again, practicing that muscle, it was discovery, and you only have maybe 24 hours to figure it out, right? And it really goes back to coming from a working class background. Time is a luxury, energy is a luxury. And especially if you are in survival mode, getting to share and feel feelings in front of people is, one, a privilege to feel things that maybe someone else is afraid to feel or just doesn't feel like they have the space to.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't realize, now as an adult I do, that was where I was. It didn't feel safe to feel a lot of things or, be completely open. And so the best part wasn't the audition or if you booked a job, it was the empowerment that you walk away practicing that muscle a little bit more and a little bit more.
Yeah.
So over time and a lot of probably failed auditions, like definitely, you learn to embrace where you're at and be kind and live a life of self-care, sleep, health, food, community who you surround yourself with, these things that nurture you. You're able to have the luxury of what I would call, which is no such thing, a good audition. So I feel like starting out, I more became a person who was felt safer in my skin. And that allowed me to now, if an audition were to come, I'm joyous and going, oh, what can I explore with this? I'm not honestly thinking if someone, how they feel about it, other than did I serve you and what you needed, but it's out of my hands. I feel like an artist now because I feel safe enough to share. And sometimes people are born and raised feeling that. And I think many of us have to find safety and feel safety over time. So again, being an artist, it's more of who I become than what I picture it should be.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah.
You sharing that acting, whether it was in an audition or, every time you got the opportunity to do it, helped you discover and feel emotions that you previously didn't feel safe to feel.
Yeah.
Was there one in particular, was there an emotion that felt new to you? And I'll say that my acting, I have a deep reverence and fascination for female rage and how I think societally we're conditioned out of feeling it. Yeah. And for me, acting and being in a theater has been my way to feel into what real rage actually feels like as it's expressed. But I'm curious for you, discovering your emotional life and breadth and depth. Was there one that what you can remember the newness of feeling it?
Yeah, there was one role that I was playing that I felt, I kept just banging my head on a wall of, I had this vision for what it should be, which I don't usually have. It was just coming to me that this is kind of, and I really live, I try to live a role. If I'm playing a role, those things develop over time. I'm not consciously choosing. I allow to discover,
That's right.
But this role in particular, because I had seen it before, I remember it hitting me on stage right before I went up, and it was the realization, this is where I'm at today. I ask how I feel, then I ask again, and after a couple of times, you usually get the truth because your body, I feel, protects itself, right? And the more I feel I can relax and accept, I got to the truth of what I was feeling that day, and I looked at that performance as I'm going to share from where I am. My voice drops in. I feel safe enough to connect and share. And then whatever the audience projects on me is that. But I have to bring the truth and the relaxation and I have to bring the truth in for them to determine their own truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And on a related note, I love how you said no such thing as a good audition.
I look at it as a chance to have fun, play something that I want to play, or integrate a part of myself. Like, oh, I could be stronger in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I want to work on that when I'm doing this,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And hopefully there's people listening to this that feel similar of like, what do I do with an audition when I get it, or a meeting I'm going to have, or if it's a different realm of art, right? Because I feel different professions, it's all in a way art. You're training, you have community, you're figuring out ways to express what it is you do and how to do it better. I look at it as a way to grow, and that gets me interested in it. Because, do you mind if I'm not general and real talk right now?
Please.
Okay. The truth is, after a while, jobs feel like jobs, opportunities feel like auditions feel, even though there's gratitude for them.
Of course.
You get something at 8:00 and it's due the next morning, and it begins to feel like work. And I just feel,
if I may,
yeah.
I felt that a couple months ago with the show, and it scared me. It was like all of a sudden I was quite exhausted by it, and I wasn't feeling excitement to show up to it, and had nothing to do with the people I was meeting, like sitting with.
Right.
I think it had everything to do with, but it needs to be this thing.
Right.
And I had to catch myself, and I had to step back for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And what I said to someone the other day, what's crazy is that was like maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I had an episode called Spring Space, that was me taking a week break. And I came on for 20 minutes and was like, I'm taking space. And I feel night and day from that time to now. And I think all of a sudden I came back to like, girl, you're sitting with people you love, like having conversations with them.
Yeah. Stop
trying to engineer it to be something.
Right.
For the sake of trying to engineer it to be something. Yeah. And that reminds me so much of this orientation towards, like, for me, it's performance of something, of being enough for something, versus curiosity, presence, mining for what's true right now. Not even mining, allowing what's true right now. Like, and it's so hard for me to accept that that's the path, and we leave it and we come back to it. But I feel that reflected a little bit in how you talk about it is a job, and how can you discover it newly again and again.
Yeah. And thank you for picking me up when I was trying to articulate this, because it is maybe the first time I ever had, which is I keep the excitement because I allow to share a part of myself in the journey of, okay, this is what I want to experience with it today. Tomorrow might be different, and that gets me sharing myself and my truth. And then I think that's what best serves. And then you can do something with that versus what I think might be right, which how do I know?
Right. There's a real surrender in that to me. Like, especially
it's definitely a surrender for sure.
You pointed out though, even early in the conversation when we were talking about your stunts, like it's not this isn't about
art
me.
Is subjective.
And there's so many other pieces and people that bring this together. Like, my orientation is that I show up and share where I am truthfully right now. Mm-hmm. And that's one piece of the whole thing.
Yeah, right. You bring your best self, which is, it's uninhibited by what we're placing upon ourselves, the stories we're telling ourselves, it's bringing your best self so then they can do something with it.
Totally. I wanted to ask you, what does self-care look like for you when the industry's quieter? You've lived through the strikes.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's space between jobs. Like, how have you figured out how to hold yourself through those times?
Self-care. I have fallen in love with self-care. I mean, this sounds so basic, but self-care to me is sleep, which is also a luxury for a lot of people, and I understand that. So trying to slow down in the moments where I am thinking about 5 things, but getting one thing done.
Mm-hmm.
Self-care is being mindful with my family, even if I might have a minute with them during the day. Connection, checking in. Even if it's a day where I have to fly somewhere, I'm going to have 2 hours of sleep and then have to get up and go work. Taking a moment to journal, reflect. And if you don't have time for that, I think self-care is like checking in. I like to ask, like, what am I feeling right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a more simplistic way to answer this. It's continuing to come back to the self and asking what the truth of the moment is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I feel this. I feel like I need this. Let me schedule. Self-care is scheduling. It's putting it in the book
Mm-hmm.
versus I hope to do that. That's not fair to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you have an idea or a thing you'd like to do or a thing that you feel would make you feel good, honor yourself and try to put that somewhere where you will follow through with it. So it's listening to self and honoring self, if that makes sense.
Totally.
Sure, we can go into juicing and saunas and all that other stuff, but if we're talking about the truth, it's that all stems from listening to oneself.
Those rituals.
Yeah.
And specifically, like in those quieter seasons of your career, where maybe you're not as busy with a job and like waiting for the next job to come through, how do you continue to feed like the artist in you?
Community.
Yeah.
Absolutely, community. Taking the time to say, what is it that I want to be doing, that I should be doing? Because I think we all have that in us. I know there's this one thing I want to do, and we let the 5 other things get in the way of it.
Mm-hmm.
So in the downtime of when I am waiting for the next thing, I try to create it. I try to visualize, okay, this is what I need to focus on. I'm going to do one step a day towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And that fuels me. That gives me purpose and momentum. And I think energetically lets me connect with the other things that I want to connect with. It's sort of like you feel it. Like you feel the energy of someone who's, I don't want to say following through, or someone that feels stuck. And I have so much empathy for that person because I was that person.
Yeah.
And it really comes back to seeking out community, which is what I think our humanity is going towards with AI. We're going to have so much at our fingertips. I think it's really going to come down to smaller communities focused on more niche topics that we can come together and explore together. And that's really exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, you point it out well, because even for me, like the weekly ritual of us going to a class together, anytime where I'm like, no, I need to stay home and work on this by myself, whatever this is.
Right.
There's so much more clarity, momentum, regrounding, vitality that comes from going and being in the group. And I love that you point that out. One of the things I think I've learned being around people with careers in this industry over the last 3 years is on one level, everyone is an individual stringing together their own career, and everything happens with other people.
Yes.
Like everything happens in partnership. You don't get much done alone by yourself. And I really see that. And I think I've really come to appreciate that. And then all of a sudden see like, okay, if that's true and I want to make something, I have people right around me that I could Like it's just this untapped resource
Yeah.
and like well of possibility, the people that are right around you.
Yeah. I think people are excited to take part in and help or support in one way or another. Like
Yeah.
community. Yeah, absolutely. I remember I had a high school teacher say, life is about relationships and life is what you make it. And I'll never forget that.
And with that, we started like with you envisioning what this chapter of your career would be when you first came out here.
Yeah.
Is you look at like the chapter ahead. What do you envision for yourself, and what do you think your own understanding of what success would be for you is?
I'm really a big fan and proponent of who I'm becoming versus what I have.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of traveling around the world. I've backpacked many places. And I feel the thing that I learned from that, what was so nice was my identity was no more in a new, strange world. That I didn't need all the things that I thought I needed.
Mm.
And I fall back into the trap as soon as I'm home. I'm like ordering this and ordering that. Like, that's fun. And I do enjoy that. Mm-hmm. But I feel grateful to have come to a point where I do realize that none of this comes with us, and to find gratitude in the little things, which aren't little at all. They are often the biggest things in our lives.
Yeah. You're working on something new to bring to the world to support other artists. What would you like to share about that?
Oh, yes. I'm so excited. So my career as a stunt woman has been one of visualizing and zeroing in on what it is I want to achieve and executing that. Mm-hmm. And I thrive on that journey of fear and self-doubt and decision-making that it's going to go well, and just the clarity it takes to decide what we feel our next move is. So I'm excited to begin that journey working with artists, helping them find what they feel their next move is.
Yeah. You told me about this over the weekend. I'm obsessed with it because just the simple lesson that you decide what the next move in. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a thread that I'm just coming to really understand for myself. And I think it's a thread through this conversation, like the posture of waiting for something.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus you're steering the ship. Mm-hmm. And
for something that is really a mirror within you,
yeah.
Right? Holding a mirror to say, like, here, look, I see it. Can you see it?
Yeah. Say more about the mirror.
Well, I think often we inhibit ourselves from the stories that we tell.
Sure.
It's as simple as that. And that they are essentially stories.
Yeah.
But what is the truth?
Yeah.
Let's get to the truth of things.
And what would be, and you said earlier, what would be true for you, and what would your gut pull you towards if you didn't listen to the fear so much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having, someone to support and give space to answer those questions, because I think we don't take the time to sit down and actually visualize what we'd like ourselves to be, who we'd like ourselves to be in a month from now, 5, 10, 20 years from now. And that is, I think, so important, instead of floundering for years and going, wait, how did I get here?
Yeah, that's right. We stay busy enough to avoid doing that. And you're right. The space to just sit and ask those questions, and to have someone ask those questions to you. I mean, and I think we're moving into a world where that is going to be so necessary and cherished.
And then community to help support, right?
Yeah.
Finding your people that are maybe now on a similar journey, I think is what we're going to evolve to, right?
is a final one on this before we end with some fun ones. Is there like a next step for you that you feel pulled towards creating? Is it this program, you think? Or is there another one that is hiding back there?
This is the exciting journey that is going to lead to some more things down the line.
Spontaneous first rapid fire. What is a piece of advice you would give the you just starting out here?
Write down and visualize what it is that that would bring you peace, that you would like to be doing, but also who you would want to be as a human being. Because when you're in line with that, you can quickly navigate. It's like you see a red car and then you keep seeing a red car.
Yeah.
I think it keeps you in line for the
Looking for
opportunities and gifts that come versus you realize years later, oh, that's why that came into my life.
That's right.
That's something that I think, and not to be afraid to ask for help or let people know where you're at. Honesty, which again is a privilege for some if you don't feel safe enough to do so, but working that muscle.
What would your 8-year-old self say to you today?
Want to race?
What will your 80-year-old self say?
Thank you.
What is a ritual or practice that keeps you?
Asking myself throughout the day where I'm at. How do I feel? Honestly, this podcast, the truth is really asking myself until I get to that truth, because it's not always there at the surface, but it gets there.
This is like a Mad Libs. You can fill it out or take it and answer it however you like. I used to think blank, but now I know blank.
I used to think that the answers were outside of me, and now I know they're within me.
Boom. That's a good one. What's a truth about the season of life you're in right now?
I think it's a season of springtime.
Yeah.
And planning, and I think I think the human race is there right now, where it's springtime in every sense of the word.
Let's manifest that. Yep.
Yeah,
some spring cleaning for humanity.
Yeah, that too.
And then just for fun to end it, is there a stunt on your bucket list?
Oh.
It maybe never been performed before. Please say it.
It just came to mind, but didn't someone already do it? Like jumping from space?
No. That's for you.
No,
what year is it going to happen?
What's the highest that someone has skydived?
I don't know.
They were very high.
We're going to find out.
I say space. Facetious.
Jumping from space. I'll be there with a sign.
With me?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for doing this with me. You're amazing.
You're amazing.
I have less fear.
So grateful for
just knowing you.
What a gift.
Yeah.
What a gift. Thank you for just being you and being present and inspiring me. The fact that this even exists is because of your determination and visualization that you believed in yourself to make something happen, to help others find their own truth. So thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you leave this episode with something that stays with you, a question worth holding or an insight worth following. If this conversation resonated, subscribing or sharing the episode helps bring more people into the conversation. And connect with The Truth Is at The Truth Is Podcast on Instagram. Special thanks to the people who make this show possible. Editing by Dan Kroll. Video production and editing by Anton LaPlume. Music by Will Savino. Visual identity by Sarah Gaynor and Jonathan Bush. And guidance from my friend and advisor, Natalie Tulloch. I'm Kathryn Flashner. Thank you for listening to The Truth Is.